What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Between the Ropes. We are here, of course, tonight to talk all about this past week in the world of professional wrestling and, look forward to the future a little bit as well. But thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it on at our new time. And, of course, we'll have all of the we'll talk about the news. We'll do some sell or no sell. Jeff's got some words to say in the grievances section, which we all enjoy. And then we'll get into some other stuff as well. So, but welcome all. And Jeff, another big week in wrestling. And as always, we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to get off my chest. Should be a fun episode.
No doubt. Jeff's coming off his Bucks taking their first loss to my hated Philadelphia Eagles. I almost thought I'd have the trifecta. I got the Penn State loss yesterday, which was awesome. I watched the end of that game, and I don't watch much college, but I got that. And then, of course, I had to post a picture of a duck just to be a jerk, which I did. And then, boy, oh boy, man, Baker. I got to hand it to you, though, Jeff. Baker Mayfield. That guy, like, who'd ever saw what came from him coming? I mean, he just keeps bringing them back. They were down big. And they almost pulled that off.
I will say, I was completely wrong about Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
When the Bucks signed him, I was not happy. I will be the first to tell you that. And my goodness, has that dude balled out, and he has been tremendous for the Buccaneers.
Yep.
I don't know what his contract status is right now, but if they can sign him and extend him to a bigger deal, longer contract, please do it, because that dude that's the type of leader you need on your team.
Yeah, he really has. He really has played well, and I don't think you're the only one. You're not alone in that. I think a lot of people probably gave up on him and kind of thought, But yeah, I'll tell you, and the Eagles just keep somehow squeaking by. I'll tell you, they look like they've got flaws, and they just somehow keep squeaking by. But we'll see how long that lasts. But it's certainly, there's something up there. And they don't, like AJ Brown, like, what's up with him? I don't know whether he's injured, what's going on. He's not getting any passes. I don't know what it is. But yeah, football is a weird animal, other than the fact that my Cowboys are going to get destroyed by Green Bay in just a few hours, which. But
this will be a good distraction then.
Yeah, it'll be a good distraction. And Jeff just gave me amazing news, which we'll cover in the news part. I got to talk about that now. Holy God.
Yeah.
Because so that's going to be in the news section. But yeah, welcome in. First of all, let's go over some things. Coming off of the pay-per-view, obviously from TNA. And this week, of course, we will have our slate, our schedule, where you can see up there, Fireflies Forever on Tuesday with Jeff and Chris, talking about the Wyatt Six and all that stuff that's going on with them. Then, of course, we will have TNA on Thursday, which should be very interesting. We only have 2 episodes to go before the big one, before Bound for Glory, which is looking just unbelievably exciting with the matchups we're getting there. And now we got, I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit too, but we got an announcement about that there's going to be, some intercompany matches between NXT and TNA that we're going to get, kind of like War Games kind of stuff. So it's just getting so much better. We got comments from Moose that we can go over in the news as well. But Thursday, of course, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us for that and for TNA. And then, of course, right back here for Between the Ropes on Sunday at 7:30 p.m., our new time. So, all right, we will, let's see, welcome some people in here. We'll get going. We got Zach. We've got Derek's here. Derek got a big, Atlanta got a big win today, right? Yeah, I think Atlanta won their game, didn't they not? Or am I wrong? I think Atlanta won their football game today. Let me go back and look now. Now I'm curious. Maybe I'm wrong. Falcons. Where are you? They beat the Commanders 34-27. So there you go. Dylan's here. Damien's here. Andrew's here. Deanna's here. Jeremy's here. Jeremy, of course, a member of the channel. Thank you as always, Jeremy. We've got Bonus Baby is here. And Anthony Slade, also a member of the channel. Thank you, Anthony, as well for being here with us tonight. And let's see here. Terrence is here. Welcome. Brandon, the Bears lost, my friend. The Bears lost, dude. Unless I totally missed that score, but no, they did. Whoa, wow, that must have been still going on. They did win. Yeah, okay, they were losing. I thought that game was over. I looked at it as a final. They did. Deanna says invasion. Yep, that's what's coming. Yeah, the Ravens, man. I don't know what's wrong with that team. 1-3, and they got blasted by the Chiefs, and the Chiefs were not even looking good. I know they got Worthy back and stuff, but they just blasted. There's something wrong with Baltimore, man. Bonkers LFC is here. Let's see who else we have. Jeremy Dunderman. And all right. So there we go. We are caught up as far as everyone who's joined. If you are watching and you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you drop a like on the stream tonight, guys, before you go. And also hit the notification bell about when to be notified when we have that future content coming up. So, all right, Jeff, where are we starting? Starting with the news, yeah?
Starting with the news. So,
Sweet.
Here we go.
All right. Well, I got to talk about this one, man, because Jeff just shared it with me. I was at work all day. I did not see this. Braun Strowman, according to Collider, has been in talks to play Jason Voorhees. OMG. I mean, people complaining that there was a stuntman who played him in that, for lack of a better term, a long commercial that they did for that Angry Orchard thing recently, which was the first time Jason's been on a screen in forever. And people were kind of saying, the dude was too small. Wasn't big enough. The guy's 6'4", but I mean, he's not big muscular, like he's a big guy, but he's not, and people were kind of bitching about it. And then, I mean, they certainly can't say anything about that with Braun Strowman.
No.
He is massive. And the cool thing, Jeff, here is we know he could play a horror character because he's done it with Bray Wyatt. So, and obviously, Jason doesn't speak. There's pretty much it. You just need to look terrifying, and that I could certainly see Braun Strowman being good at that role. So that's pretty awesome. That just goes to show. It goes to tell me also that they're getting into that stage where that movie is going to be coming out, which is pretty exciting as well. So that was amazing news to get today. I'm pretty excited about that. But Jeff, I think Braun is, and I did read after I read that article, I read recently that he kind of said that he's pretty much like semi-retired from pro wrestling. So don't think he'll be coming back. I know a lot of people were saying that they wonder whether or not he would make it, he'd come to a different company, or maybe he shows up at Bound for Glory. It kind of doesn't look that way. I mean, he could be keeping secrets, but it looks as if he wants to turn to acting. And wow, oh my gosh, what a better thing to play in your first film than that role, Jeff. I mean, the role is iconic. People certainly embrace him in that role.
Yeah.
What a start to a movie career.
Yeah, that'd be. I mean, when I first saw it, obviously the first person I thought about was you, and then I was like, him as Jason, I feel like he could just bring a physicality to the role, because he's done physical things, and he's done, we talk about the kinship between professional wrestling and doing stunt work at times. He's done a lot of that, so I feel like he can do some of that in a role. I'd never even imagined him being in consideration for. So I'm excited to see it. I hope that he is, in fact, signing on to be the next Jason Voorhees.
Yep. I know, Jeff, a lot of people they enjoyed the last film that came out for Friday the 13th, which was the remake, the 2009 remake. And a lot of the reason why they liked it was because Derek Mears, who played him in that, another dude, big guy, athletic guy, and people loved it because of him running. Like, he ran in the film, and he did a lot of, like you were saying, he did a lot of the physicality and stuff like that. And I'm sure you can get that from Braun. And so yeah, man, it's exciting, and I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. We'll see what happens. They also did say that there's a date now. Somebody on Facebook shared it with me. March of next year will be the release of Crystal Lake, the series that has been long talked about. They're filming it now, which is a prequel series that you're going to see stuff about Jason's mom and when Jason was a boy and things like that. So that's coming out in March, which I'm not kind of surprised. There's 3 Friday the 13th next year. 3. One of them is in March. And so I'm not really surprised that that's the case. The other one, oddly enough, has an open slot. When you see movie companies, they'll have slots for movies, and sometimes they will say unknown movies. The second Friday the 13th next year has an unnamed movie for Blumhouse Pictures. And there are a lot of rumors saying that Blumhouse was going to have the Friday the 13th name and the license. So you never know. They could be fast tracking this. Horror films, slasher films especially, don't take a long time to make. They can knock those out in like probably 4 months because it's, there's not a lot of intricate stuff they could do. So maybe next year will be the year. But man, I'm as a Jason fan, I'm excited. I think it's going to be awesome to see that coming. So but I appreciate you telling me about that because I had no idea. So that's very exciting. And then the other thing I had, Jeff, and I don't know if you have anything also, obviously, but the other thing I had was the comments I read from Moose about working with NXT.
Okay.
Which was very interesting.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, somebody asked him how, what was it like to work with WWE? And his comments, and don't quote me on this, but it was similar to this, saying that they have a mutual respect. The two companies have a mutual respect for one another. And he said, unlike other attempts, he said, where there was not that, he said, I think that this is a fantastic partnership. And he said, I think that it is going well for both parties concerned. And again, I don't have an exact quote from him, but he, did come out in support of the two companies working together. And so, look, Moose is, we all know how long he signed for TNA. He is one of the mainstays of TNA and will be for a time to come. And obviously Moose is very happy with that. And, the prior partnership, you guys all know who that was. He obviously was not very satisfied with that. So that was out there as well. But Jeff, whenever Moose talks for TNA, you kind of have to listen. He's that kind of guy. And he's very important to TNA with or without a championship title.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of their mainstays. He's one of the guys that carries that banner for that promotion. And, I mean, I haven't seen it, but I'm just going to go ahead and assume what the comment section looked like. I'm going to talk about a little bit of that later on.
Yep.
But he's in the thick of it. We're not. So he has a firsthand perspective and knowledge of the situation that we don't. If that's his opinion, it's his opinion. Yep. And, with him being that close to everything that's happening, I have to put value on that opinion and given his stature in the company. So, I always find it interesting when we see things like this, because what the people are saying, the quotes that we're seeing, oftentimes get glossed over in the name of, well, you insulted my favorite, so I'm gonna have to insult you back, or now I don't like you because I can't take constructive criticism or whatever it is. And listen, this is not directed in one direction. This is me pointing in both directions.
Yep.
In all directions. All of us need to tighten it up.
His exact quote, I did find it. Moose says the partnership between WWE and TNA is way better than anything that was ever done before. I think this is the best relationship that TNA's ever had. Way better than the one we had with AEW. So this is quote from Moose. Both companies actually respect each other. And that's a quote from him, and it says via Metro. So that was his exact words. Look, like I said, the man has been on top of TNA. He decided to sign with them long term and stay with TNA. And like Jeff said, he's one of the regardless of what he's got going on or whether he's a title holder or not, he is there for a long haul with them, and he will be one of the major players in TNA for quite some time. So, and like Jeff said, this is his feelings. This is what he said. That was his quote. So, so pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty cool. So, I don't know if you have anything else, Jeff.
Not in breaking news, but okay. I mean, I guess this first topic might be somewhat breaking news. But
all right, well, let's head into our topics then.
First topic is AJ Styles says that he's going to hang up the boots in 2026.
Yeah, man. Look, this is one of the things where, as a wrestling fan, it's almost like you dread having to see this, but nothing can go on forever. And AJ has been a mainstay in professional wrestling for such a long time. We've watched his matches so long. Jeff's got a background with him leading a long way back. So it's always sad. It's always sad when you see the legends go. I have a baseball pitcher, one of my favorite baseball players that I've grown up with, and that's Clayton Kershaw, who is hanging it up after the year. And it's it's one of the things in sports. They're not going to go forever. And this is one of the things that you have to deal with when you're a sports fan, and a wrestling fan as well. So yeah, look, AJ has done so many amazing things for the companies he's been in. So many wrestlers that he has put over through the years. He's going to have a match with John Cena coming up, which, a lot of people are kind of questioning that a little bit. But, seeing this news, I mean, why not? Why not? They're two of the best to ever do it. No, it's not a storyline match. It fits the storyline right now. But you know what? When I look at that, who cares?
Right.
Who cares? When are you going to see that ever again? It's going to be the last time. And, both of them now going to be gone very soon. AJ next year, Cena the end of this year. So why not? But yeah, man, nothing but class for AJ, Jeff. And I'm sure whenever he wants it or they want it, we're going to see him in TNA's Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, and obviously the last time we saw him, Jeff, which was kind of unexpected, obviously putting over Leon Slater, and really making him like the next big thing. So, yeah, man, watching AJ's career has been an absolute pleasure, and he's just one of the greats. No matter what he did, just one of the best to ever do it. So, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I got a chance to see him up close before he became a big household name and doing what he's doing now. So to see someone throughout that journey and to see all the things he's accomplished it's been remarkable. And pun intended, but it's been phenomenal. He has been, you think about what he meant to TNA.
Yeah.
Really starting that company and creating a groundswell of support there. And everything that he did, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and everything he did on the independents. And then you talk about then going to WWE and really having almost another career on top of the first one. You could almost split his career into two parts. You could start out with everything that he did from the very beginning up through, New Japan and everything through the independents, and split up WWE, and he's had two Hall of Fame careers, and he's a legend. And I don't know what he's going to do next other than spend time with his family, which he's earned the right to do. I think I read somewhere that he may be interested in producing or doing something backstage. And if that's the case, WWE better get him quickly, because he would be a huge asset to any promotion. Looking for someone with experience, a good leader, not just a great wrestler, not just a great in-ring performer, but a great human being. So, great career from AJ Styles.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. First ballot Hall of Fame, both TNA and WWE. I could see it. Yeah, I could see it for sure. Wow, what a career. Well-deserved retirement. Just hope it goes better than John Cena's retirement tour. Look, what more can be said about, again, he's one of the best to ever do it. And, now I kind of wish Jeff TNA would still do all those old matches. You remember how they used to show the old matches a lot? Yeah. I kind of wish now they would again, because I used to see AJ with the chopped haircut and the very short hair, and but yeah, man, it was an amazing career for AJ. And the thing that I like, Jeff, and I know, like I said earlier, it's sad when people retire, but I do like the fact that when people walk away on their own terms, and they're not walking away because they've got a bad injury, because they've got concussions, they've got this, they've got that. They're walking away because they just want it to be time. And that's great when they could do that. So
yeah, absolutely, man.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, we're going from one future Hall of Famer to two more.
Oh boy.
These two guys will meet again at Crown Jewel in Perth. Joe,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on this? And we do have a question this week about this very match, so we'll get to that during our burning question of the week.
I mean, it's a hell of a main event. It's a hell of a match. It's a rivalry. Has been, I will never forget the match that Cody wrestled against Seth in the cage when he came in with that bust. What did he have? The torn pec. Yeah, dude. Like, who will ever forget that? I mean, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Look. Yeah, when you look at WWE right now, these two are at the top of their game, and they're at the top of the mountain, and that's what's going to attract people to this show, because you've got two people that are absolutely on the top right now, and nobody can really say that they're not. Nobody can really say that they don't deserve to have this, because but I mean, this is just going to be an incredible match, and again, both of them are outstanding in what they do. The promos leading up to it are going to be great, as we saw one already. And yeah, I mean, you can say, and you can't really even. A lot of people might be looking at Seth kind of as the past and not the future, but I would caution against that. I don't know, man. I don't know. Seth is just unbelievable now. I know Jeff and I talked on this program about he's almost going to be in consideration for getting up on someone's Mount Rushmore at some point.
Yeah.
And who would have thought that years and years ago when it was a Shield? He was almost kind of looked at as an afterthought sometimes in the Shield because of who was there. But man, just two guys that are just absolutely killing it on either side of the spectrum. And I mean, I'm intrigued. I think this is cool that they do this at this event, and just to see them go at it again. Why the hell not? It's going to be an outstanding match.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. I think these two, from an X's and O's standpoint, so to speak, they have great chemistry and they work very well together. And it just every time they have a match, I've enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to this one. We'll see what we get between now and then. Like you said, we've already gotten one promo, so who knows what we're gonna get next. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for it. Should be a really good match.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, no doubt. And then, the pay-per-view sometimes is, people look at this time of the year and they're like, it's one of those things where you kind of don't care as much about it, because if you figure it's not big stakes, there's not a lot of big things going on most of the time. But I don't know, if that's the case and you have a match like this, it's just going to be entertaining. Because of the two men that are in it. So yeah, I dig it, and I'm sure I'll definitely be checking it out.
Yep. All right, so Joe, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see No Mercy?
I did not watch it, but I did see the results.
You saw the result.
And I heard about this. Yep.
So Ricky Saints,
yeah, man,
is your new NXT champion. He defeated Obafemi. Wow.
Crazy.
So, I mean, obviously, for the folks who like to project forward, they like to think, well, does that mean that Oba moves up to the main roster? What do you think about that? And I guess my other question is to the folks in the chat that got a chance to watch No Mercy. Do you think there are any other call-ups based on the results of the show? Please.
I would kind of think so, Jeff. That's the first thing that kind of went through my head when I heard it. And I'm like, yeah, I would bet that that Oba's going to get called up. I kind of thought it was, for him anyway, I kind of thought it might have been even past time when he should have been. So, yeah, I would kind of think that that's what this is. It's kind of the passing of a torch. We haven't had a draft from WWE either. Don't know if we will. May not be something they're gonna do all that much anymore. I don't know. But yeah, I would think so. I think there's going to be changes on that roster. There always is. And Obafemi does make a lot of sense going to the main roster. Others you can look at, Jeff. I'll be honest. I think Jordan Grace is ready to go.
You think?
I do. Yeah, I think Jordan's ready to go. I don't know what more she could do there. And of course, they already had, she had experience of kind of carrying the knockouts division in TNA and everything too. So, but yeah, I think there's going to be some changes made to that roster. Another guy I could see too, and the bonus baby just mentioned him, Ethan Page. I could see Ethan Page going up as well. Unless they want to keep him down and maybe have him, go for one of the other titles down there or something like that. But yeah. And look, I've liked this guy, Jeff. When we used to watch NWA,
yeah,
right. I liked him from there. And I even said with his promo capability and everything like that, he reminded me of The Rock a little bit in a lot of ways, had a little bit of that swagger, that cockiness and stuff like that. This guy's good, and I think he will be a great champion for the NXT brand. And I think Jeff, he made the decision in his career to leave another company that he's with and come here, and it looks as if they have they think he's the future, and I think that's huge for him.
Yeah. I do too. And I think going back to the thing about call-ups and everything, I think I agree. I'm with Sean Rousset. I would maybe wait for some call-ups until the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Rumble, a fresh start.
Yeah, you could do that.
But I think I'm just so happy for Ricky. Because, again, you think about NWA is what a lot of people know of him, but there was a lot before that with him. And knowing his story and knowing what he's gone through and what he's done to get to where he is today, I'm just so happy for the dude. And I was shocked, but couldn't be happier for Ricky. So, and definitely can see him on the main roster maybe within the next year and a half.
I like the idea about waiting for the Rumble, but I do have a quick counterpoint to that. And that is that sometimes the end of the wrestling year gets a bit boring and a bit light, because especially when WWE gets into once Survivor Series is done, there's not much. And sticking a draft in that area might not be a bad idea, because then you're going into the next year. You're starting over kind of fresh with the new lineups, with the new rosters, and then you go into your January period where you're going to have the Rumble, right? So like Jeff said, and we're always getting surprises at the Rumble, right? So you don't necessarily have to announce all the names. You can kind of just say, well, we're getting into the. I don't know. I think that might kind of be a cool thing for people to look forward to a little bit when WWE is kind of winding down. But I don't know. Very interesting. But yeah, happy for Ricky, and again, I think it was a good choice, especially if Oba is indeed going up to the main roster. I think it was a smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cool.
I mean, it's going to be – I'm excited to see his run. I really am.
Yeah.
Speaking of TNA, there's an invasion on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an interesting backdrop given Moose's comments.
Yes.
I because and we do, in all transparency, we do have a question in Cell or No Cell about this event here. What happened. But what did you think of this, Joe? Because I think that it might have added some gasoline to the fire.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So many of you guys in our chat through all this have kind of been clamoring for this to happen. Yeah, you guys were kept saying I think that they should have this happen, right? And it's right in time for Survivor Series. So it's again perfect time to have a group of people from NXT going into and look, they had a storyline wise, right? They were taking a lot of crap because constantly these NXT people were winning their titles. They were taking the titles over to NXT. They were kind of talking a lot of smack. They were saying, "Oh, so." And now they've got them again. So you have the women's titles back over there again. The men's titles still over there again. So they at this point TNA is coming over in a pride angle. They're coming over. They're proud of their company. And, as a storyline, I think this is, again, I think this is great. They're sticking up for TNA. They're not going to take it anymore. And yeah, I think this is awesome. And, having this happen around the time of Survivor Series when you can get clashes between the two companies, I think it's awesome. I'm down for it, Jeff. I'm excited for this.
Yeah, and who's to say they can't put an NXT versus TNA match on Survivor on that PLE?
Yeah.
And I mean, you want to talk about getting eyes on the product?
Yep.
Both products.
Yep.
And yeah, NXT. Ava announced that October 7th, NXT will have an invasion of both men's and women's teams from TNA and NXT. Plus, the Hardys will face Dark State.
Yep.
So October 7th. So I mean, and think about that. That's less than a week before
Bound for Glory.
So depending on what happens there could be a lot that carries over to that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can almost like, to your point, with Survivor Series, if they would do that, that could be 3 times then that we could see clashes between the companies in the span of just a couple of months. And look, if WWE, okay, and the parent company, if their intentions are to indeed have TNA going on the CW, and if their intentions are to put them in a time slot on their own on a different night, whatever that night may be, then it would be in their best interests to get them eyes on the product, like Jeff said. And what better way to get more people finding out about it than have them appear on one of WWE's big pay-per-views, which so far we have not seen other than Joe Hendry. So yeah, I think this is, it's great for TNA. And yeah, I would hope to see stuff like that. I think it would be really, really good.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens next because again, I feel like there's still so much more that they can do and so many more matches that we can have. And from seeing El Macias at Victory Road, now you got to throw the AAA curveball into all of this too. So how does AAA factor into this? And do they start up with TNA? Because then you could have TNA, AAA, and NXT all showing up on each other's shows, and that's a lot of fun. That's a lot of stuff they could do with that. So,
Yep, no doubt. It's exciting, man. And again, we're getting down to we're winding down 2025. So a lot of times you get to this part of the year and it's not the most exciting time for wrestling going forward. But with all this going on, it's going to be a great end of the year for TNA.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get into Victory Road, because we got that on Friday. And overall, Joe, I wanted to get your thoughts on the entire night, but then we'll talk about this moment. But I wanted to get your overall thoughts on the show as a whole first.
Yeah, when I went back and I watched the beginning and stuff, the stuff that I missed, I'll be honest, and I'm not just saying this because I love TNA. I think it was one of the best Victory Roads I think they've done in a while. I thought it was really, really good. And look they pushed it. They went longer. It was a longer Victory Road than usual. Yeah. But I thought it was very well done. I thought it was very entertaining. I mean, obviously the matches, the caliber of matches that we had were amazing. The main event, holy God. And yeah. And they even had to do some impromptu stuff because of what happened with the knockouts. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an amazing show. And I can remember, I know I'm getting old and I don't remember things as well as I do, but I can remember in the past, Jeff, that, we watched Victory Road and sometimes we weren't all that overwhelmed with it. We're like, it was okay, but very, very predictable, and we kind of knew like stuff wasn't going to change too much and things like that. But this one was just, I think, all around was a really, really incredible show and a great jumping on point for Bound for Glory coming up. But yeah, I really thought it was great. I had a great time watching it and going back and watching the stuff I missed.
Yeah, I mean, this show was really good. I mean, just simply put, it was a really good show. Mm-hmm. Despite all of the chaos that we got during the show and all of the unexpected stuff that we're about to get into, but it was a really good show despite all of that. And kudos to TNA, because like you said, I mean, in years past, not that the shows were bad, but you just didn't have a lot of consequential things happen at Victory Road. Right. Because in this case, like in most cases, Bound for Glory is less than a month away from it. So you don't tend to get a lot that happens there. It's more of a bridge to Bound for Glory. But there are a lot of consequential things happen and a lot of big things leading into Bound for Glory. So I am looking forward to this Thursday because I want to see how they follow that up. And I want to see, we kind of danced around this, but I want to see how if they address Ash relinquishing her title. Not sure if folks got a chance, if you watched TNA but didn't get a chance to join us Friday. Ash by Elegance relinquished her title to start the show. She was very emotional. She didn't go into a lot of detail, and this is part of one of the areas where I got frustrated on Friday, because it's like she didn't tell us anything, and that's her right, because she doesn't have to tell us why she's stepping away or what the circumstances may be. She doesn't have to tell us that at all, but if she wants to share it, she can share it in her time. And so I mean, I thought that, I don't know if you got a chance to look at it, but I thought the way that she addressed the crowd and she acknowledged that, hey, sometimes I've kind of been a jerk, because that's who I was as a character, but I really appreciate you all. And what'd you think about that moment?
Yeah, Jeff, I think she gets a lot of disrespect that she doesn't deserve. Um, look, I get it. Yeah, a lot of people can't forget things. Wrestling fans can be crude sometimes, and I'm not necessarily talking about present company here, but people can be crude, and they remember one or two things about someone, even if they're from another company when they were in another company, and they kind of tend to not let people forget it. And it's like the Nia Jax thing and things like that over and over again. But I'll tell you, all you have to find out sometimes about someone is read, and I'm not telling you to go and read the nasty comments, read the kind remarks that they get. Go on, because believe it or not, you do see kind remarks on Twitter. You really have to look through it, but you do. And from her peers, from people who knew her, from people who are close to her, all said that she's a great person, and that they all felt for her. And whatever the case is, if she shares it, if it is indeed an injury, she's had a good amount of them. And so it could be, and maybe it's something that just will not allow her to wrestle anymore. But whatever the case might be, look, I was never one to, regardless of whether I like the actual wrestling character. And we got to remember, as fans, there's a difference. You can hate a person's character. That's just what they do. They're going to make you hate them if they're a heel. They're going to try to make you like them if they're not, if they're a face. And you can hate the character, but you always need to, in the back of your mind, remember that there's a person behind it. And so I think that coming out and the way she did and talking, you could see the emotion. You could see how sad it makes her. She just was starting the reign as the TNA Knockouts champion, which is something I'm sure she has probably had on the top of her ladder. And we often talk about this, and I know, I can remember, Jeff, back to when she first came to the company, and people were even then hating on her. Oh God. But see, that's carryover from the other company, and that's really just not fair. It's really just not fair. People can get a clean start, guys. It's just like it's as if like we would leave a job because it wasn't the right job for us, and then we move on to something new, and then all of a sudden the people at that new job are they're talking about our reputation. And like, oh, this guy was a jerk at his other job. Oh, he's going to be a jerk here. And, we got to be a little cognizant of that, and kind of not act that way, because that's not the case. And I think I always kind of thought she was a genuine person. Sure, Jeff and I would talk about her character on this show, and was her character appealing all the time? No. But that was the character she played. And that when it gets on your nerves, she's playing it well.
She's doing a great job. We
right.
say that often.
Right. But
just like Ryan Nemeth. Ryan Nemeth as a character is the type of person that, I don't want to say, but he's just, as a character, you just want to like,
oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know the guy. So I don't actually dislike Ryan Nemeth.
Right.
I just dislike the character he played. And I think sometimes people, but I also think in other cases, people forget that these are people too. When these folks are out in public, they're in their own bubble.
Yep.
They're traveling. They're trying to get from point A to point B, probably very tired, not much sleep.
Yep.
The last thing they want to do is at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure, have somebody stick something in their face like, hey, here, sign this, or hey, here, take a picture with me. And not even asking that politely.
Right.
And that was kind of rude. So yeah, we don't have to like their ability.
Right.
We can think that someone's ability is not what we like. I mean, we can think somebody's a bad wrestler or whatever. We can say, oh, this person, their promos or whatever. That's fine.
Yep.
But I think when somebody's like, well, good, I'm glad you know what? You're the person that I'm going to be talking about here in a little bit. Perk your ears up a little bit because they're going to be burning.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's not fair to the person, and you can tell that when you see a wrestler like this, and kind of similarly to what Naomi delivered after she won the title and had to relinquish it and stuff, you could see that they try to stay in character and stuff like that, but you could see the emotion on their face, having to when they reach that pinnacle, and then right away it comes to a crashing halt. And then now Naomi, obviously, very happy occasion for that. But we don't know what's going on with Ash. We don't know. And if it is an injury, and let's say it's something like concussion issues, where a doctor might recommend and say you can't do this anymore. That's horrible. You're losing your livelihood. You're losing your dream. It's something that you dreamt about doing forever. She was never really given the opportunity when she was in WWE to be a title holder like this. And now she has it, and boom, something happens that takes it away. So, yeah. I thought that, look, and again, did I love her elegance character? Absolutely not. But it's a person. And, yeah, that's what you have to keep in mind. It's a person that is showing real feelings and stuff here. And Jeff, I also liked how she came out at the end of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So came out to congratulate at the end of the show and kind of celebrate with Kalani, which was awesome. They had a relationship. They knew one another. So yeah. Hope, Jeff, that all I can say is with this, I hope she'll be okay. In whatever it is. And, if she decides to share it at some point, we'll find out. If she doesn't, we may never know. And, yep, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But
yep.
Yeah, there was I'm just going to scroll through some pictures real quick, but yeah, it was a big night. And this, I was actually a bit shocked at Joe's demeanor.
Yeah.
It almost felt like a farewell in some ways. Did it feel like that to you?
Yeah, it kind of did. Well, look, you can see now they're talking about the dark state conversation with Joe and I. So you could see the writings on the wall. The writings on the wall. We were all kind of speculating as to when this is going to happen, what's going to happen next. Is Joe really gone by Bound for Glory? Is that going to be it for him? It could very well be. I think the one thing we could all agree on is that Joe he's leaving. Looks as if he's headed to NXT, and yeah. He's going to have a rocket strapped to him no matter where he goes. But yeah, it certainly does look like something's going on, and yeah. So he's no doubt going WWE, Chris. No doubt. It's just a matter of where he's going to go. Is he going to go to NXT for a little bit, or is he going to go right to the main roster? That I don't know yet. But and it's well deserved. He built up his character and himself and everything like that. He's a made man. And so, but yeah, unfortunately that, it's going to be 2 years in a row with Jordan Grace, the head of the top of the women's division, and then Joe Hendry, the top of the men's division are going to be lost. So it's hard, but it's good to have a guy like this, Jeff, to kind of step in and fill that role.
Yeah, and I'm gonna heap a bunch of praise on Leon Slater, but I got to give some praise to Myron Reed. He, again, another dude that has put in a lot of work. A lot of people may not be as familiar with him as they are with Trey Miguel or Zachary Wentz. But this dude, man, he's tremendous. And the match that they had, one of the best matches, I would say one of the best. You could have a conversation of it being one of the best matches of the year. If this is in someone's top 10 or whatever, wouldn't surprise me at the end of the year. But this was a really good match. And Leon Slater, to be his age and to have the ability that he has in the ring, not just the physical ability, but the mental understanding and the psychology of the psychology of wrestling at this level at such a young age is absolutely crazy.
Yep.
It tells you why people like AJ Styles are co-signing this guy. It tells you why people are hyping him up, because this dude really is that. He's that guy. He's him. He's him right now. He's the future of wrestling, I believe. This was great, but I'll be honest. What we got at the very end,
oh boy,
setting up that match between him and Javon Evans at Bound for Glory, 1-on-1 for that X Division title. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. That's going to be an absolutely amazing match. No doubt. I mean, two of the biggest rising stars that wrestling's got right now, and that's going to be one for the ages. I don't know. Look, I don't know what's going to main event the show. I don't know, but I wouldn't be at all shocked. And I know he's the X Division champ, but I would not be at all shocked if that ends up being the main event of Bound for Glory. Would not shock me at all.
I think it'll be Trick and Santana.
Yeah, you're probably right, Jeff. But it might be the one right before it.
But this might be co-main. Yeah. I could there's two schools of thought here. It could be a co-main event, or you just start the whole darn show with it.
You could do that too. Yeah, bookend it. Yeah.
But like Deanna just said, if you start the show with it, if you follow that, good luck.
100%. Yeah, right. Who would you get to follow that? Yeah, dude. That's a great point. I'd be if I were the wrestlers that had to follow that, I'd be like, oh man. You
need like a backstage segment and some kind of announcement from Santino.
Yep.
Between matches, if that's what you're gonna do, because if you got to follow that immediately, there's just no way you're gonna live up to that hype.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, no doubt. But man, oh man, Bound for Glory is going to be good. It is really going to be good. Like I said, it used to be Slammiversary, for the most part, where we get a ton of stuff, and now it's really Bound for Glory that they focus on, and this one is going to be this one's going to be awesome. It's going to be an amazing show. So, yeah.
Well, Joe, just to kind of go right into this, something else that's going to make Bound for Glory even more amazing is this year's Hall of Fame inductees. We've got the beautiful people.
Yep.
Being inducted this year, and we also have a Joe and Derek favorite, Mickie James. So, what do you think about this year's Hall of Fame class, Joe? And I know you got some thoughts on Mickie, so I'm gonna open the floor to you and Derek. But just your thoughts on this year's Hall of Fame class.
I mean, as well deserved as you can get. Mickie should be a dual Hall of Famer. She really should end up in this one and end up in WWE's. She's huge for women's wrestling and the things she's done over her career. Remember how she started in WWE back in the day, you know, and where she's come, and the things that she's done with it, with the women's pay-per-view and the you know, the things that she's pioneered. Absolutely well deserved, and the beautiful people as well. I mean, such a you know, again, this is huge for women, just huge. And it looks like with the announcement of Stephanie going in to WWE's as well, that man, it really looks like this year's Hall of Fame inductions from both companies are really looking like they're changing the game. And you know, we've had women inducted, but this is, you know, this is an all women class here for TNA, and now and then the first one for WWE's next year is Stephanie. So huge. This is huge for women's wrestling. Women's wrestling is here to stay, regardless of whether or not. And I know there's people out there that bitch about it. They're not fans of it. They're not, whatever. You can have that opinion. I think you're out of date. I think it's old fashioned. I think that if you're like that, then you probably should be watching something else. But women's wrestling is here to stay, Jeff. And the three of them right here that we're seeing are a big part of that coming to fruition.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you didn't know, and you don't watch TNA and you haven't watched it, the Knockouts division, here's what I'll say. Since I'm about to be controversial anyway. WWE's the women's division that you know about. The Knockouts division is the one that revolutionized women's wrestling. That just my opinion. So,
yep.
Kudos to these knockouts.
100%, very well deserved.
Yep. All right. Well, you ready to go there?
Oh man, it's that time, guys. It is the time to get to hear Jerry Stiller, and also the time that we're going to hear some other stuff, including grievances. And yeah, it's that time, Jeff. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I am going to bow to Jeff right here on this one because he's got a lot to say.
I do.
And yep, go to it, man.
All right, man. So Friday, if you were here, there was a situation where we had someone come in the chat and, you know, just right off the bat, just negative, just negative. And for the most part, we tried to ignore it. And, you know, I felt like we did a good job. And eventually we had to address it. And even in addressing it, I felt like we were respectful and we were kind and courteous. And we didn't treat that person any differently than anyone else that we would call on their negativity or BS. And I'm not going to say this person's name, because they don't need any hate or anything like that. But we got a comment from this person. And, you know, I won't go into the whole comment, but they said we were disrespectful. So this first part is for you. Joe and I, and a lot of the people watching this right now, have done our best to create a community that feels like family. In doing so, one of the things that we all agree on is that we want to keep as much negativity out of this space as possible, because all of us at some level or another have something that we have to deal with that's serious in nature, that takes precedent over wrestling or a wrestling opinion or two companies battling it out or whatever the case may be. And wrestling isn't our life. We do this because we have fun. So we've tried to create a space for people to be able to feel like they can come here and enjoy themselves without a bunch of drama, without a bunch of negativity, and be seen and heard and be respected. So to get a comment that says we were disrespectful at first, I'll be honest, it kind of hurt me because I'm like, well, man, I hate that someone's experience was that we were disrespectful. But then I thought about it, Joe, and I'm like, if I were to visit this person's house and they told me, hey, don't wear shoes in my house. And I come into their house and I'm wearing my shoes and I'm just stomping mud all over the place. Don't they have a right to kick me out? That's what I was thinking. So I would never show up to someone's house or someone's, I don't know, channel and disrespect them in a way where, I don't know, I'm talking about everything but what's going on that they're doing. Yes, clown. Yes. I wish I had that meme. I should have had that meme for that. I wouldn't show up that way to somebody's house. So don't show up to our house. Don't show up to our community that way. But the larger thing of what I want to say is that person and a lot of other people are what's wrong with wrestling. Wrestling at one point in time used to be looked at like, man, you guys are strange. You guys are weird. You know, you're not a part of the regular culture. You know, it was frowned upon and people didn't say, hey, I watch wrestling. You didn't talk about, hey, did you see All Out All Out on Saturday? Nobody talked about that kind of stuff, but now it's cool. Now it's in vogue. It's straight. But what I feel like wrestling has done in becoming cool and becoming mainstream and popular is that it's taken on some of the characteristics that make our society what it is right now. Mm-hmm. And that's where people become so polarized based on one thing. And what's really funny about this, and you know, I said I'm going to go here, so I'm going to go here. What's funny is in all of those cases, it seems like the fans, the fans are following these companies like people follow political parties. And there's this line in the sand, and you can't be in the middle of it. You got to be on one side or the other. The people in the middle are the weird people that are like, hey, I like all wrestling. I enjoy both shows. I watch both of them. We're weird. I get it. Join the crowd. It's all good. But so many people are so polarized in the world on everything that we have forgotten how to be freaking decent human beings. We've forgotten that just because this person may have a smile on their face or just because this person may be typing into a chat, hey, you know, this show's great tonight. They think that everything's cool, so they can just be a jerk to them, not knowing what that person may be dealing with on the other side of that screen. We've lost our ability to have empathy. We've lost our ability to agree to disagree. We don't have to agree on everything. That's fine. Like what you want to like, but don't crap on what I like because your favorite company is enemies with that favorite company. I'll say it like this. at some point, I hope and pray that as a world, because this isn't just a U.S. issue, this is a global issue, because apparently assholes come from everywhere, in every shade, every belief system. At some point, I encourage people, and maybe what I'm saying right now doesn't make a huge effect in the world, but maybe it starts in this community. Before you say something out of pocket to somebody, put yourself in their shoes and think about, maybe they got something going on that I don't know about, and before I just blast off on them because they said that something I watched sucked, or because they don't like what I like, put yourself in their shoes before you beat them down, because you don't know what folks are dealing with on the outside of that. And the last thing that I'm going to say is this, and this is back to the negativity. This channel, and I think I can speak for Joe when I say this, and everybody else that comes on this channel will be about a positive space for wrestling fans, not AEW fans, not WWE fans, not TNA fans, wrestling fans. This channel is for that. Feel free to have your opinions here, but don't you dare disrespect our house. You disrespect our house, you get called out. And if you don't like being called out, maybe you haven't been called out before, you have been now. Get your crap together. And last point, back to the whole political bull crap and how wrestling seems to feel that way. If you want to follow a person with a catchy slogan and no substance, that's you. Do that. If you want to follow your own ideology, come up with your own stuff, that's on you. But this mudslinging bull crap in a space that's entertainment, that's supposed to be fun, what are we doing? We got to stop this crap. So put your Twitter fingers away. Realize that wrestling is not life and death, and that these companies don't pay you. If you're on their payroll, defend them all day long. That's fine. I don't care. They don't pay you. It's okay to be critical. My gosh, we've been critical of TNA. It's okay to be critical. But let's put down the negativity. Let's put down the just nastiness. Because I guarantee you 95% of y'all, last thing I'll say, 95% of y'all that have the guts to type the stuff that y'all type wouldn't have the guts to utter a single word of it to the people you come at. I'm done.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree with everything Jeff said. Look, it's, all we have tried to do, and I hope we've done a good job of it, and it seems like we have with the comments that you guys are leaving now, and other comments that I've gotten from people that have stuck by us, that have been in our chat, that are in essence our family during these podcasts and all these years, have been good. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what we've created here. And like Jeff said, this whole thing about, I'm gonna come into a stream and I'm gonna I'm going to go off on the stream with these guys because I don't agree with their ideals and I don't agree. But yet, on the other hand, I'm not going to tell them why I don't agree. We're not going to have an adult conversation about it. I'm not going to come in and say what I don't like and kind of try to, maybe counterbalance or argue my point a little bit. I'm just going to come in and say that, well, I don't like what you said to me, and now I'm pissed off and stuff. Look, it's what Jeff said about the tribalism. This kind of stuff is petty beyond belief. It's just so petty. It's not even like tribalism like when we're watching an actual sport. Because I guess maybe my brain could make a little more of that in a way. Like when you're tribalistic about your college football team, or you're tribalistic about your NBA team, that I can even see a little bit more. But my God, guys, this is wrestling. It's scripted. It's written, and I'm sorry if I ruined that for anybody. But this stuff
is real to me. Damn it!
I know, right? I mean, this stuff is made ahead of time. It's come up with ahead of time. It's done in a back room, in a meeting room most of the time. And this is nothing to come into a place and start to, to for lack of a better term, shit on people and get after them. Like I've said this so many times before, you, if that's the way you are, I feel bad for you. I really do. I think that, you really are kind of maladjusted in life if you're like that. And all I could say is it is being promoted on some of these garbage social sites, and mostly a lot of the sites now. I think I told you guys on the last show, I've run down my Facebook, and I've literally deleted so many things on Facebook where I'm down to a handful of friends. That's really it. I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't. And as far as spending time on Twitter, Twitter's the absolute friggin' worst. Twitter's the worst. And you could see from the moronic politicians that go on there and use that as a platform now. Like they're acting like babies. They're acting like they're like they're little kids that are 9 or 10 would act. And I just have no patience and want no part of that anymore. And, like Jeff was saying, this person who did that, listen, man, and if you're still listening, it's no sweat off our nose that you're gone. Not one iota. Not one iota. That, if you're going to come in and you're going to do that all over something in wrestling, you need to kind of sit back and reevaluate your life. And I'm hoping that I'm not the only one that tells you that. But you really do. If that's the kind of stuff you're going to do. I agree with Jeff here 100%. I will stand by it. The stuff that we bring on this channel, I'm proud of it, and I'm proud of what we made. And I don't give a damn about numbers and all that kind of stuff and subs and things. I never did. I never cared about that. Jeff never cared. We do this because we have fun doing it, and we enjoy it, and we enjoy the like I said, the family and the friends and stuff like that we've made in all of you, and that come out and listen to us talk. But yeah, just, I always say at the end of the shows, be kind. And sadly, I think that's become a hard thing for people to do. And boy, oh boy, when kindness escapes everybody and goes away, wow. that's not a world I want to live in.
No. No.
It's go
And
ahead.
Joe, I want to add one more thing.
Yep.
Because Conrad brought up a great point. And shout out to Conrad. Thank you for being here, Conrad. Negativity does sell.
Oh, no doubt.
So this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say to that person that you were just talking to, that I've spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
Others like that individual. And I also have a message for those individuals who run platforms that way. There are, if you feel the way that you felt in our chat on Friday, I can assure you that there are other platforms you'll fall right in line. It'll be like you've always been there, because there are other platforms, there are other places where you can do that, and it's perfectly fine. And to the people who run platforms like that, who profit off of negativity, division, and I'm not just talking about in wrestling, I'm talking about overall. To the people who profit off of dividing people as opposed to bringing them together over our commonalities, shame on you. And I want to say much worse, but my kids have phones now and they have access to YouTube. So if I tell you to go F yourself the way I want to, that wouldn't look good in front of my kids. So I'll just tell you to go pound sand, because you should be ashamed of yourself. You're a part of the problem. Driving division, driving negativity, sowing chaos. You are a part of the problem. You are a part of the reason why you have people hopping on Twitter saying all this crazy stuff, thinking that because they've watched wrestling for 5 years, they can perfectly execute a hurricanrana off the top rope, or a Spanish fly, or a suplex, or even just taking a simple freaking bump because of some of you. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, just it seems like to some people it's become increasingly more and more difficult to be kind, and that's a shame. That's a shame, and I'm embarrassed. I just turned 56. Some people think I'm 2,000 years old, but I've just turned 56, and I'm embarrassed at the way this world is sometimes, and how hard it is for people to just show a little kindness, whether it's to someone who's struggling, or whether it's to an animal or a pet, whatever. I'm just shocked. I patterned my life. I didn't grow up with a father who was around a lot. My dad left me when I was 13. And so I was never close to my dad, because I became the father in my family. I don't know if you guys know a lot of this about me, but I became the dad in my family. I had to raise my sister. We were latchkey kids. My mom wasn't home. My mom had to take up the mantle, and she had to work. And there was stuff that I resented. I was only 13 years old. I didn't have much of a childhood then, because I was always babysitting my sister. I was watching my sister, and that just had to be done. But I did have a role model, and that role model is my grandfather. My grandfather, I had never, ever heard my grandfather raise his voice. He got mad, but he never screamed and yelled, never raised his voice, never was ignorant or rude. He had a tenant that lived in his house next door to him who was screaming in his face. I saw it happen. And my grandfather just stood there. And I remember all of that. And that's who I patterned my life after. Am I always, look, my wife will tell you guys, we've been in some doozy fights over the years. and have kind of yelled at one another and things like that. So I make a lot of mistakes. But the one thing that I learned from him is ultimately he was a kind man, and even kind to people who didn't deserve it. And I think in our world today, that kind of thing is more important than almost anything else, because we're all we've got. Our families, our friends, and everything like that, we're all we've got. And there is enough of the bullshit, of the anger, of the other stuff going on around us, but we have to be the better people, and we have to be the ones that are showing that kindness to others, regardless of what they are. So yeah, so that's all I've got to say. I agree with Jeff and everything 100% that he said here tonight, and it's just sad that wrestling causes this from people. It really, and again, I've said this before, but I feel sad for those people, that they feel that they have to do that kind of thing on YouTube. Their lives must be very, very miserable if they have to come into a stream of essential strangers and to act that way. I feel bad for them. I really do. And I hope that they can find that kindness in their own lives. So that's it.
Yep, that's it. All right. Well, let's get into some sell or no sell, shall we?
Yeah, let's move on, guys. We will, you know how this goes. If you like it, sell it. If you don't know, sell it. And just be prepared, because you guys are going to be asked to participate in the class. And the participation is coming up with a topic. So just get it ready. If maybe you had one in the past, in some previous shows or whatever, feel free to chime in with the same one if it didn't get picked. And maybe the wheel will be lucky for you this time. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, first topic: TNA's invasion of NXT shifted momentum in the storyline and has made it compelling again. Sell or no sell?
Yeah. Look, I think, Jeff, that a lot of people. Yeah, I'm going to sell this. I think that I love it. I think that a lot of people, this is what they wanted to see. The matches have been good. The matchups have been good. The cross promotion stuff, where there have been some people going over, like Mike Santana was on NXT, things like that, has been all good. But I ultimately think that this is kind of what people wanted to see. I think they wanted to see the two companies at some point with some of their wrestlers kind of come to blows and get it all out in the open. That's wrestling. That's what wrestling is, right? You fight your battles in the ring. So yeah, I think it's gonna. I liked it. There wasn't any part of this that I didn't necessarily like. To me, it's been compelling, but I think this just elevates the being compelling. So I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna sell it, because I'm excited to see how this is gonna happen. And look, guys, whether you agree with this or not, people are talking. Busted Open was talking about the invasion of TNA. So people are talking about this now. And that, for us, those of us who are coming out and watching TNA on a weekly basis, is a very, very good thing.
Absolutely. I'm gonna sell it, even though I've thought that the storyline has been good the whole time. But I thought that it just added a little more fuel to the fire, and brought forward some potential matches that we could have a lot sooner than I think we anticipated, which is a good thing. So I'm all for it. I like it. I want to see where it goes next. I want to see how they do the October 7th thing. And I want to see what happens at Bound for Glory. I want to see those two and I think that'll tell us everything we need to know about where it's going. Not just immediately, but I think down the road as well.
Yes, sir. I agree. Jeff, I just saw your comment. I like that. You used to say you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Yes. Yeah, very good advice. Grandfathers are awesome.
Man, yeah, like mine. I mean, you talked about yours. I mean, mine did the same for me. I mean, you know, my dad wasn't really there for me, and yeah, like my grandfather was the guy that I looked up to and tried to be like, and still try to be like to this day.
Yep. Same here. Jeff, I have such vivid memories of my grandfather. I really do. Like he's the reason I'm such a big baseball fan. And you know, I can remember watching Kirk Gibson's home run with the Dodgers with him. So yeah, he was just a great guy. Grandfathers are amazing people. All right, let's see what everybody's saying. They got sells from Derek. No sells it. Wasn't a fan of it. Dylan saying sell. Deanna selling. John selling. Bonker selling. Conrad says sell for now. I have concerns, but I'm hoping they have some tricks up their sleeve. Sell. Cardona finally showed up as clown. Chris Willem says I like it. Barry Monkey says no sell. I thought the TNA NXT storyline was always compelling. Okay. Sell. This invasion has made NXT and TNA even more exciting than, in my opinion, it already has been. Big Dan, sell. TNA is getting a bigger rub from the crossover with WWE. Has been more productive for them than the one from a few years ago, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Sean selling it. Even though it was slowly starting to lose some momentum, I'm selling it because I'm hoping it will bring the partnership back up. Sorry, Brandon says. Sell. More eyes on TNA and more excitement around NXT. Bonus Baby is saying sell, and I just thought about something. Maybe Joe Hendry being more on NXT is part of the story. Who is Joe going to side with when the shit hits the fan?
Exactly.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah. Get your topics ready. We got one more, and then we're going to choose one of yours. So, what is our second topic, Jeff?
All right, so this will get some people talking. ESPN's grade of WrestlePalooza was fair and justified, Jeff. Sell or no sell?
ESPN's grade of WrestlePalooza was. I didn't even know ESPN. Oh, this is news to me.
So ESPN graded it a C.
Oh,
they said that the women's match saved the entire thing, and that the rest of it was just kind of underwhelming.
Wow. So ESPN basically being heels to their own wrestling event that they brought on their channel. That's kind of insane. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna sell the heel.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm gonna sell it. I will be honest. I had to kind of take stock in some evaluation of this after I watched it. I had some moments on it which I thought were great. The Punk and AJ versus Seth and Becky thing was great. I thought that was very fun. There were things I thought that they could have done differently. Wasn't a fan necessarily of the Cena Brock outcome. And how it started off the event. I could have dealt with the outcome, but I don't think it should have kicked off the show. I think you could have started it with a bit of a happier thing there that could have started people up. That maybe have the Becky and Seth against AJ and Punk match first, and just some little detail like that. Was it the best pay-per-view I've seen in a long time? No. I think honestly that might be a fair assessment. Because I came away from that kind of feeling that it was a kind of a C. I came in with that same grade, so I'm not too far off of there. I could maybe have gone up to a B minus, but it wasn't the greatest pay-per-view that I've seen. So yeah, so I kind of agree with the assessment. I find it funny that ESPN would do that, but I kind of agree with it a little bit. I didn't think it was the best pay-per-view I ever saw. So
yeah, I'm gonna sell it, but for very different reasons.
okay.
I think that people have a right to feel exactly how they feel. If ESPN, whoever the writer was, I forget his name. I think it was Andres Hale, but I'm not sure. But if they felt like it was a C show, then call it a C show. Okay, that's fine. My grade for it wouldn't have been a C. Would have been just slightly higher. But yeah, hell, that's what I thought it was. Thank you, Conrad. But again, different strokes for different folks, and it's ESPN is their product. I'm sure that they have some Monday Night Football broadcasts that suck out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they bring that up too. The thing is with wrestling, when it comes to critique, anyway, when you say you want to be considered legitimate and you want to break into the mainstream, sometimes those platforms that offer reviews and critiques, like an ESPN, are going to grade your product. So, and not to sound like this is gonna sound way worse than what I mean by it, but if you're not gonna do it for your fans, do it so the show doesn't get a C grade, because it seems like in some cases, you're telling your fans we're gonna do this, or we have this plan, or it's gonna be this kind of thing, and then it doesn't. Now, the flip side to that is, as a fan, please, for the love of all things holy, stop expecting A-level WrestleMania, all in, bound for glory, name your favorite promotion's top show of the year. Stop expecting that every single time that they say they have a pay-per-view, because you're just not going to get it. It's just not going to happen that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get frustrated because I'm asking myself, what are you looking for? I know some of it. So there's about 3 camps when it comes to this grade. There's a camp that's like, yay, ESPN gave WWE a C, and they suck. I'm an AEW fan. Screw them. You got the other camp that's like, yay, they gave them a C. That serves them right. That's what they get. And you get this other camp, there's really more than 3, but then you get this other camp that's like, you know what? I can't believe you gave WWE a C. How dare you? And then I even saw, this is why I remember the name. I saw that there were people writing into ESPN trying to get this writer fired.
Oh, brother.
Show a C.
Yeah, that's silly.
That's
silly. It's like they're, you've got an equivalent there of like a movie critic. Everybody has a right to their opinion.
Exactly.
Maybe the guy wasn't a wrestling fan to begin with. Maybe he was, but look, everybody's opinion doesn't have to agree with everybody else's. That's what makes us human. And so, yeah, that's silly.
Again, it's okay to have an opinion, but the dude wasn't being a jerk about it. He gave his opinion. He wrote on it critically.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Good stuff. All right. Well, let's see what everybody's saying here. We've got, let's see. I got to get back here. Sell WrestlePalooza was average at best. Andrew is selling, Damian selling. I think Big Dan has a sell or no sell first there. We got some of them coming up. Derek had one above there too. Sell. They want to be treated as a sport. You will be judged as so fairly. John is selling. Chris said, I think I agree with that. Sell or no sell. Oh, there's one from Clown there too. Maybe it'll wake H up to not get another C. LOL. I'm no selling because of the cost for the ESPN app. Luckily,
Hey.
I look at yeah, you're not wrong. I was able to because I already had Hulu and Disney, so I was able to kind of just add it on, and it didn't cost me a ton more. So it's not that bad, but yeah, I could see people having an issue with that. No sell, it's a work leading to a WrestleMania match between Stephen A. Smith and Byron Saxton. That'd be funny. Let's see. John G has his sell or no sell. Sean says sell. There's one for Brandon there as well.
I need two more.
JBL wanted the reporter to lie about the grade. Now, see, that's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, call it down the middle. But here, man, people are gonna hate me after this one. Here's what I'm gonna say though: call it down the middle, but call it down the middle for everybody.
Yeah.
So for some folks who are very happy that ESPN called it that way, I hope when they grade the next AEW pay-per-view, they call it the same way. I'm not saying that they're going to give them a C. I'm just saying call it down the middle. Call it as you see it. Not, oh, this was great. And, this is great for a young company. No, AEW's been around the block for a little bit. I don't want to hear that young company crap anymore. Y'all not a baby anymore. Y'all, it's time for y'all to grow up. Y'all can get criticism too. Call it down the middle. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
Two more. Well, one more. Sorry.
Chris has one. So we need one more, guys. One more. One last one to round out the spinner. So get that to us. So we can have
Conrad, I'm saying ESPN. I'm not even going to say the other one that starts with an F. Y'all know who I'm talking about. There are other publications too. I'm just saying it's fine if ESPN stop reviewing. I'm saying all reviewers review everybody equally. CBS Sports covers both. Cover them equally. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. I think we got one, Damien.
Yep, that's it.
All right, so there we go. We got them all. We're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to see how it turns out and see who gets picked for this week's listener or viewer or chat pick for sell or no sell.
I'm almost done typing this last one in.
No problem.
And I obviously that last statement doesn't apply to some publications because they wouldn't know fair if it slapped them in the face and call them something. So, they're not even worth naming.
Bunker says, would you want to see an Edge versus Cena final match? That's one of the ones that's been rumored, but that's not going to happen. Obviously, Edge is in a different company. He's in AEW, so. Yeah,
but here's the question. This is why people feel that way, because he was on Dynamite and he told Christian that he had to go and he had to be with his family and he didn't know if he was coming back, that kind of thing. So that's why people are feeling that way.
I mean, it'd be awesome. Don't get me wrong. I mean, those two have had a lot of history.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready?
Yeah, we are all set. The spinner is going to spin. Let's see who won.
Ready for the wheel. Let's go. All right. So here we go. Spin, 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 spin.
All right. There it goes. Round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows.
All right. So I forget who this one was from.
Oh, the Brock Lesnar one. I just read it somewhere.
I did too.
Oh, Chris Willem.
Okay, Chris. All right, so Chris is sell or no sell. Brock, I'm just gonna say it, do it like this. Brock will join Heyman, and they will turn on Seth, and Brock will win a title before the end of the year. Sell or no sell?
That's an interesting point of view. I don't think I don't even think that actually crossed my mind. So, I mean, could Brock certainly do that? Yeah. I mean, I think the thing with Brock is, and this stems back to the Cena stuff. I still think that Brock is going to face Cena for his last match. I told this to Jeff. I'm 100% convinced in that. I don't think you can make me not believe that that's going to happen. I think I know that we're going away from it now with AJ and stuff like that, but I think you're going to maybe see in the next 3 or 4 matches, it's going to be some greatest hits from Cena and just some things that the fans kind of want to see. But I kind of think that last match is still going to be Lesnar. I already had it scripted. I have it scripted in my brain how it's going to go. They're going to fight each other. Cena's going to overcome it. It's almost like a mini hard times for him until the end. He overcomes Lesnar, and at the very end, Lesnar's going to do the same thing almost, or very similar to what he did for Cody, and he's going to come out and he's going to shake Cena's hand. Who knows? Maybe even gives him a hug, and that's how it's going to end. I 100% believe that. Could he certainly turn on Seth if he's going to do something like that with Cena? Then yes, this would make a lot of sense. I'll sell it. It is very interesting because Brock kind of might have a bone to pick or two with Paul, and having him turn on him would be a very interesting way to go. And even if he doesn't have something personal against Paul, he might do it just because, kind of like he went to the next best thing. And he picked other people over Brock instead of going back to Brock. So, yeah, I'll sell it. I think it's very interesting. I'll sell it.
I like it. I just don't know that it happens by the end of this year.
Okay.
So, for that reason, I'm going to no sell it. But I like I'm not going to say like is probably the wrong word. But I think at some point or another, Brock Lesnar, let's be honest, ends up with a title. When that is, I don't know. I would imagine that it wouldn't be anytime soon because, obviously they're still going to receive backlash about him being back. And I don't think they do it now, but I've been completely wrong and they've done things opposite of conventional wisdom before. So, but I don't think it happens by the end of the year. And part of that too is not only do I not think he gets a title, I don't think Heyman's turning on Seth right now. I think Seth is too hot right now for him to turn. From a storyline perspective, I think you got to get down the road a little bit and hit some adversity, I feel, and have a little bit of turbulence in the relationship before you start to see a break. Or like I said, they've done things out of left field before, so we'll see. But for this one, I'm going to no sell.
All right. Well, let's see what people have here. No sell. People thought it would be like WrestleMania was this. Oh, that's for the other one. Let's see. Sean Mercedes said no sell. Deanna says sell. Little Silver says Brock joins division, becomes like a mentor or heavy that could go that way too. Bonus Baby says no sell, not by the end of the year anyway. No sell. Mr. 44 can't win the title. No sell. I think it's too soon for Heyman to turn on Seth. It's always been Brock and Heyman. No sell, no sell. I agree with it, but him getting the title back in his last match. No sell. I think Seth and Braun are going to recreate Triple H and Batista. I think Brock battles it out with Cody and eventually Gunther. Appreciate AJ while you can. Yes, Alexa Bliss Gamer says no sell. Undertaker versus John Cena would be good because of WrestleMania when they fought. That wasn't good. They could revisit that feud. This time it can mean something. I don't know. I think I would be cool, but I think Undertaker might have seen his last days in a ring. I
think
don't.
He might have had his last ride.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back in a wrestling standpoint anyway. Let's see. No Cell next year maybe. Brock for Cena for the title. I see Heyman with Braun. Eventually, I think he's solely with Braun, says Jeff. Yeah, obviously Braun is being built up for that. So,
yeah.
All right, good stuff, guys. Thank you for the participation. We always appreciate you giving us some things to talk about. So thank you for that. And we're going to move on, Jeff. I think, I don't know, look, you never know it, Jeff. I mean, it's almost the end of September. We got a couple days left. And today it was 80 degrees. 80 degrees in the Northeast. So you wouldn't think we kind of need any warmth, but, it's right around the corner. It is going to come. And I watch this weather guy that I think is pretty reliable. He's not any of the local news people. It's somebody that I watch on the internet. He's kind of saying that it's going to change in a heartbeat. So we'll see. So maybe we will need that warmth, but whatever it is, it's going to get warm in here.
Yeah, it is. It is. I had this whole bit planned about, being on a hot streak, talking about the Buccaneers, and I can't do it.
Didn't work out that way.
Didn't work out that way. I will say though, my son's team, 2-game winning streak. So
there you go.
Good job this weekend, buddy. My son this weekend. Just quick story. No, never mind. I'm not going to tell that. That's for the next segment.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with that.
But yeah.
It's hot. It's yes. It's got hot. The burning question of the week time.
What is your level of interest in Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel?
I mentioned this before. They are, again, I think if you put them number one, number two, I think you could switch them out. I think you can make them your number one, your number two, but they are at the top of their game, both of them right now. Whether you're a fan of it or not, they are the number one and number two in WWE in the men's side. There may be some other people you might argue on your own, but the fact when you get them going up against one another, I don't know. I've seen them wrestle before, and I think the matches have always been really good. So, look, am I as interested in if the stakes were higher? No, but I'm still interested because they right now are WWE's two best on the men's side of it. They are the two best. And whenever you get the two best going up against each other, the match is going to probably be really, really good. So, yeah, I mean, if we're going to go like a 1 to, some people are rating it 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8. I'd give it an 8. And I think a lot of this is coming maybe too because people might be just down on, I know people's thoughts about WrestleMania. And I think a little bit of that might factor in here in a way because of the whole Saudi Arabia wrestling or the WrestleMania stuff. But I'm not going to look at it from that standpoint. I'm just looking at it from not the venue necessarily, but the match. So, but I'm like I said, I would say that I'm interested in seeing it. And like I said, I would give it like an 8. I think I'm pretty interested in the match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in it. Am I as interested as I was when they had the Hell in a Cell? No,
right. Mm-hmm.
But I'm still interested because they're who they are, and whenever you put these two in a match against each other, I'm into it. We'll see what happens because to Conrad's point, there is going to be a winner, there is going to be a loser. What happens with the winner? What happens with the loser? That's That's the question that I want to see answered. And yeah, but I am interested. It's not at the same level as it was before, but again, definitely interested in this.
A good question, too, that you guys can mull over and maybe give us the answer to in the comments. Who do you think needs to win this match more?
That's a good question.
Leave us the answer in the comments on the video, because I'd be curious to know what your answers were there. Who do you think needs to win this more, Cody or Seth? So, yeah.
Conrad already letting us know.
Yeah, saying it's.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I think at this point, I'm trying to think of the last time this was done. When's the last time a face champion turned heel while holding the title? And the reason I asked that is because I feel like people are getting to a point with Cody where they're like, okay, well, at some point, it's kind of interesting because you remember the phenomenon with Roman.
Yep.
How pretty much, especially maybe the last year or so, you could almost verbatim pick how it was gonna end a match with Roman and whoever he was going up against. And I think some people maybe feel that way about Cody at this point. And that's what I'm thinking too, Conrad. I'm thinking it was Punk, but I think you got to shake things up. I think you got to get Cody off of a winning streak and give him a little bit of adversity, because I do think for some people he's getting stale. I do think for some people it's like, well, okay, we've seen this before. Can we see something different? I think that's what some of the reactions and some of the comments are telling us. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens after this, depending on who wins this. But I definitely think that Seth needs him, because for a few reasons. Because I think if they really want to do what I think they're doing with Seth, and that's really, again, really highlighting who he is and how dynamic he's been for such a long time. If you're going to do that, you might have to take a little steam away from Cody.
Yeah, I think I would agree with all that. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I think that he does need it more. I would agree. I think Cody's already a made man. So I would agree. I think Seth does need to win a little bit more. So, especially for going forward in the future. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Well, there you go. That was the burning question of the week. Yep. Again, thank you all in the chat for playing along. We appreciate it. Yep. All right, man. All right. What do we got next? Yep.
Favorite moments of the week.
All right, guys. Well, you know how this goes. Favorite moments. We're going to start at number 3 and work our way up to number 1. So we want to hear from you. We'll start at 3. We'll go to 2 and then go to 1. Your favorite moments in wrestling of this past week. We always try to end the show on a positive note. And we know that, everybody, no matter what you choose to watch or what wrestling show it is, you're always going to find some favorite things out there that you really loved from the course of the week in wrestling. So let's get into it, Jeff. What is your number 3?
So my number 3 favorite moment of the week happened on Tuesday, and it was seeing TNA invade NXT. And the reason I bring this up is not because I thought it was going to happen then or any of that, but I thought it was really good from a few different standpoints. One, I think when it comes to these partnerships, and I'm talking about overall, what tends to happen with a partnership like this is you get maybe 1 or 2 of the top stars here and there, and maybe a few other people sprinkled in. And that's kind of it. That's kind of the extent of the partnership. is that you get some fantasy matches out of it, but you don't get a whole bunch of people involved. This was like locker rooms involved.
Yeah.
This was great. And it, again, I feel like it added some fuel to the fire. So yeah, TNA invading NXT.
Great call. My number 3, sometimes when you have something that happens that is not a good thing leads to something that is a good thing for someone else. And my number 3 is seeing Lei Ying Lee get a shot at a title. I've always liked her, and I think that since she's been in TNA, she's been involved in some fun things and things like that. But this is really kind of the first step that we've seen her take and them take with her in TNA to kind of show that she could be a big part of their future in the company, and I like that. Like I said, I think that I've said this throughout the course of this year and the end of last year that their women's division took a hard hit. They really did, and that has always been their calling card in TNA is their knockouts division. And as you're seeing with the Hall of Fame that we're getting. And I think that people like Lei Ying Lee and many others that, Indy Hartwell are going to be a part of that now. And they're going to, and I think that's something that TNA hangs their hat on. I think they need to keep that going and get that knockouts division back up to the prominence that we saw it in a few years ago. They're going to get some people back from injury, which is going to help as well. But yeah, so that was my number 3. I think that Lei Ying Lee is a really good talent, and I'm glad she's in TNA.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so let's see what the people have to say. So we've got 3 for Little Silver. Masha, Trouble, and Match had to be pulled from TNA Victory Road. Kalani Jordan winning the Knockouts title for Dylan. Number 3, Tizo Women's Blood and Guts match on Collision last night from Damien. Barry Monkey says the invasion of NXT by TNA. Conrad saying TNA NXT invasion as a whole. Brandon saying number 3 is Jamie Hayter challenging a triangle of madness to first Women's Blood and Guts. Chris said the invasion for me as well from ringside crowd aspect. The pop was extraordinary. Kalani Jordan winning the TNA Knockouts title. TNA invades NXT. Shocked. Your 3 was shocking. Shocked that Ash by Elegance relinquished the Knockouts title. Number 3, Sami Zayn versus Javon Evans from SmackDown, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. Sean has a 3A and 3B. TNA invasion. And Jordan versus Blake Monroe. And then he's doing his 1 already. You're ahead of the game, Sean. 3 Street Profits on SmackDown for Deanna. And there you go. I think that's it for the 3s, Jeff. So let's go to the number 2.
All right, number 2. So for me, number 2, quite simple. One of the matches that I really wanted to see when this whole TNA NXT thing started was Javon Evans and Leon Slater.
Yeah.
And not only do we get that on a pay-per-view, but we also get it for the X Division title.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that match.
Oh, man.
I can't wait to see it. Those two are going to put on an absolute show. And I am so ready for the wrestling world to be able to see that. I don't know if it's going to be a match of the year, but what I can say is this. There will be some moments in that match where people will be like, how did they even do that? What were they think? How did they pull that off? So that's my number 2. Seeing those two have a match made official for Bound for Glory. The stakes that are on that pay-per-view, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. My number 2, I'm going to go with Ricky Saints winning the title. I I had to see it I didn't see it happen, but I kind of, saw it in all the news and stuff like that. And I went back and watched some clips and things. But I always liked him. I really did. I from when we were watching NWA, and I always kind of got a little bit of rock vibes from him. And I always kind of hoped that he would get to this pinnacle at some point, because I think he deserved it. And I loved his. Though I still remember those fun times of watching NWA and those promos we'd get from them, doing it the old school way, and that was kind of what drew me to that show. But yeah, I think it's great to see that they feel that way about him enough to give him the rub, man, and to take that title away from Obafemi, who was a great champion. And will be great up on the main roster if that's indeed where he's headed. But that's my number 2. I did not see it happen live, but when I heard about it, I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. So that's my number 2. All right, let's see what we've got for people's number 2s. Little Silver says Kalani Jordan winning the TNA World Knockout Championship. Ricky Saints beating Obafemi. Barry Monkey says. Chris says mine is Ash relinquishing the title. Damien says TNA Invasion. Alexa Bliss Gamer says Jordan Grace versus Blake Monroe in a weaponized steel cage match. Bonus Baby says number 2, Ash by Elegance. Thanks, Ash. That's very nice of you. Dylan saying number 2, TNA Invasion of NXT, and 2B, the announcement of Leon Slater versus Javon Evans. Jordan versus Blake Monroe, No Mercy. And Javon and Leon says bonkers. My number 2 is to last Tuesday's NXT with TNA stars taking a stand. Deanna says Ricky Saints winning the title, and B, Jordan Grace versus Monroe cage match. Ricky winning the title says John G. Conrad says CMLL Anniversario 92 event, MJF versus Mystico is wrestling at its finest. I'll have to check that out.
Yep.
Oba will be moving up to main roster, maybe Raw. Oba versus Brock Lesnar would be good. And then Andrew says Javon versus Slater, announcement for Bound for Glory. All right. We're going to go to number 1s, guys. Number 1, Jeff, your number 1 moment of the week.
Even though I kind of gave it away already, I gotta shout out my son. This week, his team, they won their second game of the season. He had a couple catches. He caught a conversion and had a couple flag pulls. And at the end of the game, which I thought was the coolest and funniest thing, because we've talked about it, I'm like hoping in the back of my mind, I'm like, it would be cool if it happened, but I'm not sure it will. They put him in the game as a quarterback, Joe.
Oh my gosh.
And he completed a pass.
That's awesome, dude.
So
that's awesome.
I gotta shout out my little guy. He loves football, loves sports.
That's awesome, dude.
And he's doing pretty good and got a pretty good attitude about it. I'm teaching him some of the finer points. Like, there are going to be some times when the ball doesn't always come your way, and that's okay. You can still make an impact on the game in other ways. But proud of my little guy. I know he's excited, and hopefully they keep winning. That's my number.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jeff's going to know what my number 1 is because I told him about this very late last night.
Yep, I already know.
This is a personal one for me too, but first of all, shout out to my oldest daughter because I'll tell a quick story. A friend of mine messaged me about an opportunity where there was a convention. He knows me long enough to know things that I'm a fan of. And I've always been a big X-Files fan, and for more reasons than one. I love the UFO stuff from when I was a kid. I was infatuated with it. And I read a comic book when I was very young. I think it was called UFO Tales or something like that. But yeah, I was always infatuated with it. So when the X-Files came on, I was like, man, this is right up my alley. I love this stuff. And I love the characters, but I was always kind of drawn to Scully's character and Gillian Anderson in the show. And a friend of mine, when he messaged me, said, "Joe, you've got to go to this." And he showed me a convention. And this is a convention that's coming up that's in Philadelphia. It's called Monster Mania. And I'm like, oh man, and then I looked for every reason not to, right? And because in the past, because of my, for lack of a better term, because of my weight, my size, I missed a lot of things because I was unable to do stuff like this without that affecting me. And then I thought, oh my gosh, this is like, it's the week before Thanksgiving. It's in November. I live in Northeast PA. It's not out of the realm of possibility that it could get bad weather. And then I'm paying for this, the photo op is expensive. And I'm going to pay for this opportunity. And what happens if it snows and I can't get there? And I was looking for every reason not to. And I get a call from my daughter. And my oldest tells me, she's like, "Dad, you're going to go to this." She said, we're buying you the photo op. And she said, yeah. And my brother-in-law and my sister live 10 minutes from the event, 10 minutes. So of course they then, I talked to my brother-in-law, Dennis, who's a great guy. And Dennis said to me, he's like, "Joe," he's like, "who cares about, if the weather's bad, you can crash at our house." He goes, you can hang there if something happens, you won't have to. He said you could come down the night before, you could stay over. So basically, I am going to get to see. I'm going to get a photo op with Gillian Anderson at this convention. And the convention's got a lot of cool people there. The way it is, Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin, is going to be there. Two of the actors who played Jason are going to be there. There's the Ralph Macchio, the Karate Kid, and William Zabka, who they're both going to be there. I mean, this thing is like, it has a thought. And my sister and my brother-in-law are going to go. They got tickets to just go as well. They're not going for the photo ops or anything, but they're just going to go and hang. And I did tell my brother-in-law, I said, "Man, you better be ready, because if I pass out when I get up to the front of that line, you better wake my ass up." So
I better have some water and a fan.
Right? You better have that. But yeah, man, I'm just and really honestly, like, this is what the surgery has done for me. And it's leading me to do things that I would have really never considered doing before. And like my oldest said, she said, "Dad, this is a once in a lifetime thing." Bless her heart, she's the sweetest kid. And the fact that her and Emma, her partner, are doing this for me is amazing. And so I can't wait. And my friend Wayne said, he goes, "You are going to put that picture up on your Facebook and never take it down." And I said, "You are 100% right, man. That is going to be my."
You're just going to have different variations of
it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, no, but he's like, "You're never taking that down from being your Facebook picture." I said, "No, you're probably right." And I mean, it's probably going to be all of 2 minutes. It might not even be a minute. Because I know how they rush people through those lines, and you get up there and it's like click, click, and you're done. I will get words in. Of some type. My daughter said, "Dad, you better prepare." And this is my daughter who was on stage with Coldplay. So she said, "You better prepare something to say." And I'm like, "Oh, there's no doubt I will have something to say." And Big Dan even said, he's like, "Dude, you should get a We Want to Believe T-shirt." And wear it. And I might have to look into that. I don't have an X-Files T-shirt, so it definitely might be something that I might want to do. But yeah, that's my moment of the week, and I am just super excited. Which I'll tell you guys all about it on the next show that we do after I come home from that. So so yeah, personal one for me too. But that's my moment of the week. Never in a million years that I think I'd ever have a chance to do something like that. I missed out on one when I went to a con with a friend of mine years ago, and I missed out on being able to get Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher's autograph. And I should have stood in line. I should have stood in line. But again, I was at that point where I was heavier, and it was harder for me to just stand in a line like that. But I missed out on that, and I'm very happy that I won't be missing out on this one. So, but yeah, awesome. Well, see, this is where we like to end the show with this, because it's positivity. This is just, all of us as together on the show, enjoying wrestling and talking about our enjoyment of it throughout the course of the week. So yeah, so good stuff, guys. Thank you all so much, and yeah, that's where we're gonna end the show. And thanks for coming out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being part of the family all these years and being with us on these streams week in and week out, coming out to TNA, coming out to this and things like that. It's just so much fun having you guys here to share all this kind of stuff with. So we appreciate all of you. And again, if you are new to the channel, thank you for joining. And please make sure that you subscribe. You hit the like button on the stream if you're watching it after the fact. And you also hit that notification bell to be notified about when we will indeed have that future content. We have our slate up there. So come and join us again on Tuesday. Chris and Jeff will be talking about the Wyatt 6 and the Fireflies Forever show. And then come and join us for TNA. We got to see what's going to happen, right? Because, again, we only have 2 shows, 2 more. We got this week's and next week's, and it's bound for glory time. So can't miss these next 2 episodes. So come and join us, 7:45 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. And we're going to get ready for Bound for Glory. And then, of course, next Sunday for another episode of this very show, Between the Ropes. So I have just looked in, and my Cowboys are actually in this game. I am shocked. Wow. I am actually shocked that they're only down by 3 points. So okay. I guess I'm going to have to go watch. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great week in wrestling, whatever you choose to watch and however you choose to enjoy it. Please stay safe. Be kind to one another always. And hopefully we will see you all on the next episode of The Insiders. Have a great one, everyone. And hopefully we will talk to you on the next one. Good night, everybody. And we'll see you soon.